Okay, so what we're going to talk about is 4-4 writing equations. So we've been taking an equation and making it a table or a graph. Now we're going to have a table or a graph and do the reverse. So we've been talking about a certain slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus or minus b. And so we've been talking about what these letters mean. So I need to know what the letter M represents. Okay, Haley.
The slope.
The slope. It represents the slope. Somebody have another word that we've been talking about. It had several words. Go ahead.
Rise over run.
Rise over run. So that's mainly what we're focusing on right now. It does have several others like K, like unit rate, like constant of proportionality. Okay. And then our other word our other letter that we need to focus on is B. What is it, Dominic?
Y-intercept.
The y-intercept. Okay. So y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. It is a point. Okay. So right here, I'm going to show you one example of a table and one example of a graph. And they already set up the change. The change is your change in y over change in x. Or rise over your run, right? Change in y over change in x. Rise over our run. Same thing, okay? So if we have this equation right here, my change in y is what? 6. So my change in x is what? 2. Okay, 2. 6 over 2 reduces to what? 3. That 3 is going to go in front of the, nope, I'm not going to put that there yet. Sorry. In front of the x, because that is our slope. That's our change in y over change in x, which is our slope, our rise over our run. So I'm going to put this other word here. I'm going to say change in y over change in x. Okay? The second part is I go to the table and I find where my x is 0, because on this right here, our x, if it's on the y-axis, our x would be 0. So this point right here, the x is 0 and the y is what? 4. So that means our b is plus 4. So I took the two things. I took the change in y over change in x, and I found the y-intercept, and I inserted them into equation. Yes. 6 over 2. Right there. The 6 over 2. 6 divided by 2. The change of here over the change in here is our 3. 6 over 2, right? We'll do a couple more in just a minute. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what about the x? Like
the x is it's in your equation. It's in the slope-intercept form. So we're going to put in x every time and get a y. Okay, let's do a couple more. I promise you'll get it. Because we're doing this form. X is going to be consistent here every time. Right? This form right here. We always have the y and the x are going to stay the same. Okay? Yes, for right now. We're inserting them in like we've already inserted them in, actually. We did that in 4-2. We put in a value for x and it spits out our answer. Okay? So let's look. Actually, I'm going to skip down to exercises 1 and 2, and then we'll do the graphing part. I think that would be best. Okay? So we can stay with this. So I'm going to write y equals mx plus b or minus b on both of these, because that's the form we're going to use. Okay? So look at number 1. What is the change from negative 11 to 9, 9 to 29, and 29 to 49?
Plus 20.
Plus 20. Okay, so plus 20. Plus 20. What is the change from negative 5 to 0, 0 to 5, 5 to 10?
5.
Add 5. Okay? So my change in y over change in x, or rise over my run, is 20 over 5. 4. So that equals 4. So in my equation, I'm going to write 4 right here. Okay, because I'm going to put 4 for m, because that's what I just solved for. I technically just solved for m. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Yes, sort of? Okay. Now I'm going to go to the second part, which is my y-intercept. So wherever my x is 0, that is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is positive 9.
What if they don't have a 0?
Our change here would be from here to here, from here to here, from here to here is technically minus 6. We did, okay, so minus 6 because 1 to negative 7 is subtract 6. Negative 7 to negative 13 is subtract 6. And then this one is adding 2.
Okay.
Adding 2. I didn't do it in the same color, but we're okay. So it should be in red. But our change in y over our change in x is negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. So I'm going to put that in here for the x. Okay. And then our y-intercept is negative 7. So negative 3x minus 7. So let's look at this one. Now we're going to change it. So we kind of already did this, so this should make it a little bit easier on the board. Okay. So I still have my equation. I'm going to, when I have a graph, I'm going to start with a y-intercept. So the y-intercept is right here. Do you see it?
Yes.
And we need to talk about something when the crosshairs. So I'm looking for points that cross with the crosshairs. So the crosshair is like here and here. This point is a point right there. But that's not on my line. I just wanted to show you that. Okay? So what's another point that's a crosshair? One, how about
Right there on the x-axis.
right there? There's a couple right there. Do you see it?
What's a cross point?
Okay, so our y-intercept is this point right here, which is negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 4. Now I'm going to go and find my rise over my run. So my rise is 1, 2, and my run is 1, so 2 over 1.
Wait.
So I get, hold on just a second, y equals 2x minus 4. Okay, here is this last point right here. So if my, we're trying to fit this mold right here, y equals mx plus or minus b. Now, it crosses. Where I start with where it crosses. So it crosses right here. See it? That's my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is plus 1.
Doesn't it cross right there, though?
So our next point, it crosses right there, and it crosses right here. You can do all of the points. You can do from one point to the next. I generally go from my y-intercept to my next point up. So I go 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So that's negative 3 over 1. And I'm going to rewrite it. Y equals negative 3x plus 1. What I need you to do is I need you to grab out your homework, which is 4, 4. There are 4 tables and 4 graphs on there. You're going to need to find the slope intercept form on all 8 problems. Okay? It is going to be due first thing tomorrow.